No, so I have to keep this one short, but I'm going to offer some instruction on basic sitting meditation. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we have 3 points of contact with the earth. So we're sitting and we have both of our knees also touching the earth. We can sit kind of kneeling like this, which is not how I sit because my ankles don't like to bend quite that way. So I sit with my legs crossed like this, with one of my feet resting on my calf of my other leg. This is like half lotus. So I have 3 points of contact with the earth. With my hands, I can let them rest palm down on my knees, or I can let them rest palm up, or I can even let them rest in the middle in cosmic mudra like this. I don't usually use this hand posture because this is a little more effortless and more comfortable for me. I can let my hands rest up if I'm feeling open or if I want to be receiving of something, but generally I leave my hands down like this. It feels more grounded to me. So I'm sitting forward on the forward edge of my cushion, and if this is uncomfortable for somebody, then they can always add more cushion so they're up a little bit higher, and that'll take some strain off of the hips. So on the forward edge of my cushion, or bench or whatever it is I'm sitting on, I'm more upright on the forward edge. I'm not leaning too far back or slumping forward, so it's a very comfortable spot to be sitting on the cushion, and my back is straight, and my chin is forward and down a little bit. My jaw is very relaxed, and at this point I can close my eyes and bring my attention to my breathing. Now, the first thing that we'll notice is it's really difficult to just maintain a constant awareness of our breathing because our mind is going to start wandering. It's just the nature of the mind. When I become inactive like this, not engaging with something physically, my mind starts doing things to occupy itself. But that's like the purpose of meditation, is to learn how our mind works and to learn ways to quiet the mind. So I'll sit perhaps with my eyes closed, and if I notice that my mind is wandering too much and I'm feeling very distracted and I can't really be present with my breath, I may open my eyes a little bit and choose a point on the floor, maybe 5 or 6 feet ahead of me, and kind of focus my attention on that point. And having that visual will allow me to have something to focus on, and my mind won't wander quite so much. But nobody's going to sit there the whole time and just not be distracted. Even people that have been meditating for decades still will have thoughts come into their mind, and the whole point is to have that awareness. So when I'm sitting and I have this awareness of my breathing, and eventually I'll come to a point where I realize that I'm no longer aware of my breathing and I'm distracted by something that I have to do later today or something that happened last week. But as soon as I realized that I lost my awareness of my breathing and I was carried away by a thought, then I have the opportunity to let that thought go and then to come back to my breathing. It's really quite simple, and there's no failing or succeeding at meditation. In fact, the more awareness that we have of ourselves being distracted in that way, the more we're learning how our mind works, which I guess if you want to talk about being successful in meditation, that would be considered successful. I'm understanding my mind. For me, this practice has been invaluable throughout my recovery and becoming sober. The practice of awareness of the breath, of breathing, is an amazing way to help reduce anxiety and fear and craving. So when I'm experiencing difficulty, I'm in a difficult situation, I have an opportunity to take just a moment and let that thought go and come back to my breath. And we think of sitting meditation as something that we would do, for 10, 20, 30 minutes every morning and then every night, and that's great. That's a wonderful, essential part of the practice. But it's also something that we can do countless times throughout the day. Even for just 5, 10, 15 seconds. When we experience some difficulty throughout the day or even some joy or just any time we have the thought to do it, just bring our awareness back to our breath. And the more times we do that, I think the greater joy we can cultivate in our lives. To me, I feel like I have the opportunity to create lasting joy in my life when I find happiness in very simple things that I do all the time. So if I can find a great deal of happiness in something as simple as breathing, then I have the opportunity to cultivate true lasting joy. And it's a wonderful way to reduce stress, and it's a great addition to any practice of recovery from trauma or addiction. And I wish I had more time to go more into that, and I will in a future video. But for now, I just will wish everybody peace and prosperity. And in my tradition, we like to say, may all beings be free from forgetfulness and transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow. Namaste.